So, a very good afternoon, everyone. Today, my topic of the presentation is White Sargasso Sea as a prequel to Jane Eyre. This is my academic information. So, let's have an introduction of Jane Rees and Charlotte Bronte, the authors of these two works. So, Jane Rees is born in Dominica and known for his feminist and post-colonial perspective. He is famous for his work White Sargasso Sea and Good Morning, Midnight and Voyage in the Dark. In his work, we find themes like women's struggle, mental health, and critique of colonialism. And he changed how we view classic literature through feminist and post-colonial studies. Charlotte Bronte, on the other hand, was born in Thornton, England. He's the eldest in Bronte's sister, and he's famous for his work Jane Eyre and morality and women's role. His themes are often lingers around social class, gender issues, and resilience of women. He's a pioneered woman's voice in literature. Jane Eyre remains a globally significant work of her. Let's have an introduction of White Sargasso Sea and Jane Eyre. So Jane Eyre was published in 1847. He is telling a story of Jane. Jane is an orphan, and through this novel, Charlotte Bronte has portrayed some autobiographical elements as well. And the key events are struggle at Lowood School, life as a government and Thornfield Hall, meeting Mr. Rochester. The theme of this novel is social class, gender roles, independence, and morality. Jane Eyre is written in Jane Eyre is written in a first-person narrative. And let's have a look on the White Sargasso Sea, which is published in 1966 by Jean Rees. In the White Sargasso Sea, we find many. We can say it is a prequel to Jane Eyre. When in the novel Jane Eyre, we find Bertha Mason, who is often quoted as a mad woman in Attic, and he is first wife of Mr. Rochester. In this novel, he is a character named Antoinette Cosway, and the novel is portraying her story. In the novel, we find that there is a background story of how he descended to madness. In the White Sargasso Sea, we find many perspectives. It is like a picture with more angles we can see. It is not like Jane Eyre, which only portrays one perspective, which is center characters Jane. So, in this presentation, we'll try to see how White Sargasso Sea offers a more nuanced and sympathetic portrayal of Bertha Mason, reimagining her as a victim of colonialism, racial tension, and personal trauma, in contrast to the one-dimensional mad woman in the Attic, depicted in Jane Eyre. The novel deconstructs the stereotypes by providing historical and psychological depth to Bertha's character, challenging readers to rethink traditional interpretation of female madness and identity. My research question for this presentation is: how does Jane Rees' White Sargasso Sea challenge and deconstruct the portrayal of Bertha Mason in Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre? And what does this reveal about the impact of colonialism, racial identity, and gender on the development of female character in literature? So let's get started with the character connections. Characters are the bridge to connect these two novels. The first character is Antoinette Cosway, which is portrayed in the Jane Eyre as a Bertha Mason. In White Sargasso Sea, we find it is the more focused on Antoinette's Cosway's life and how his life is struggled, and because of his struggles and adversities, he descends to madness. In Jane Eyre, we don't find much of detail about Bertha Mason. He is also portrayed as a mad woman, and in the end of Jane Eyre novel, we find it is a kind of a villainization of Bertha, because he is burning the house of Mr. Rochester, and he then commits suicide. So one angle is that she was also villainized in the novel Jane Eyre. In White Sargasso Sea, we find a detailed and background of her descendant to madness. It also provides a sympathetic view to his character. The second is Edward Fox Rochester. In White Sargasso Sea, it is depicted as Edward, a colonial outsider, mysterious and conflicted in Jamaican setting. Although the name Edward does not come much in the novel, in Jane Eyre, known as a Mr. Rochester, he is an enigmatic master of Thornfield Hold who locks Bertha in attic. In the Jane Eyre, we find that there is a affair of Mr. Rochester and Jane. The audience majorly focuses on their relation, and they sympathize with Jane for not developing the relationship with Mr. Rochester. In White Sargasso Sea, we find that Mr. Rochester is more of a kind of a villain kind of personality who does not give attention to Antoinette, and he married Antoinette only for his property, and after the marriage he exploits her in every way possible. And there are some aspects that Antoinette's madness is also a reason for the adversities he faces from her husband. Third is the Annette Causeway. So in White Sargasso Sea, Annette Causeway is the mother of Antoinette's mother, and who struggles with the colonialism and mental challenge shape her daughter's fate. So Annette is mentally ill, and we see that how she suffers from his mental illness, and after she was transferred to a mental hospital, she was sexually abused also there, and she has many adversities because she can't be fit in society, and she lost his mind due to adversities she faces. In the Jane Eyre, we don't find much of a detailed character of Annette, but it offers a deeper understanding of the factor contributing to Bertha Mason's mental state. Through the explanation of this, we can find Annette's struggle in the form of in his daughter. Let's have a colonial, post-colonial context in Jane Eyre and White Sargasso Sea. So the setting in Jane Eyre, we find it is set in Victorian England, reflecting strict social hierarchies, gender norms, and moral expectations that how things should be there. And in White Sargasso Sea, the setting is Jamaica, and which is depicting the remnants of colonialism with themes of slavery, racial tension. Setting is like Colibri and Caribbean showcase cultural diversity and economic disparities. In the White Sargasso Sea, we find the elements like racial tension, racism, but in the Jane Eyre, it is more of a tale, love story, but we don't find any complex or colonial or post-colonial context in the first reading. Let's have a look of Creole versus English culture. So Antoinette's Causeway is the white Creole woman, and his husband, Mr. Rochester, is English, comes from English background. In the novel White Sargasso Sea, Mr. Rochester says that Creole of pure English descent she may be, but they are not English or English either. So this shows that how Mr. Rochester has a superior view of English society, and she, according to Creole is a inferior race, and through this, this husband and wife has a difficult relationship between them, and it ends with a tragic relationship of their breakdown. Let's have a look at the deconstruction. Is a white Creole woman, as we have discussed, felt Jane Eyre unfairly stereotyped by Bertha Mason and Creole culture. The novel gives a detailed backstory of Bertha, showing her Antoinette's Causeway, a complex and emotional character. So the novel White Sargasso Sea has a detailed narration of life of Antoinette, which portrays him as a victim of colonialization, slavery, racial uh, who cannot fit in the society. Mr. Rochester is portrayed as more a human but also fluid with misunderstandings worsening Antoine's struggle. White Sargasso Sea helps readers see Bertha as a real person, not just a mad woman, evoking sympathy for her tragic life. If we have to talk about the narrative structure between these two novels, White Sargasso Sea told from multi-perspective, giving a complex layered with view of characters and events. On the other hand, Jane Eyre told from Jane's single perspective, offering a more focused, limited view of events and characters. The narrative is fragmented in the White Sargasso Sea like a puzzle with missing pieces, creating a more intricate story. So, on the narrative structure, we find more details and multiple perspective in the novel Wild Sargasso Sea. The psychological dimensions. So, White Sargasso Sea explore Antoine's mental and emotional struggle, showing her as a complex character. In the Jane Eyre novel, we don't find any detailed version of narration of Antoine or as a Bertha. She is just portrayed as a mad woman and a first wife of Mr. Rochester. A lack of psychological depth in Jane Eyre offers a simpler, more external view of Bertha's condition, or it is almost like she is invisible to the readers. Rees dwells into psychological aspects, and due to this, Rees provides a deeper understanding of Bertha's mind, shifting our perspective on her. So, to conclude my presentation, White Sargasso Sea offers a backstory of Jane Eyre, exploring the complexities of Bertha Mason. Both works prompt readers to question assumption, empathize with silence characters, and appreciate multidimensional storytelling. And by reading White Sargasso Sea, an individual will have a better understanding of Jane Eyre's novel, and it will create a sympathetic view towards Bertha Mason, also known as Antoine's Causeway. These are my references. Now I'm open for your questions.
Darshik, my question is for you. Do you think the man dialectic in Antoinette are related to the Indian context of witches and Mata figure of women? How far can you justify the behavior of women?
What do you mean by Mata figures? Oh. So it could be justified that due to, as we know, that women face many challenges in the society, and due to family pressure and all kind of pressures, as Sir often says, "Chhatki jai." So this could be a factor that can be related here. The justification is that in novel we don't find there is a Mata figure in Antoine, but I think because of the pressure that women faces in society, it directly impacted in the mental health, and it creates issue in mental health in women. Next question.
It's okay if you can ask him in person. The audio at least would be recorded. Yeah, just read the question. I think if you are facing any network issue. So
question. My question is, how does the White Sargasso Sea reimagine and challenge to the narrative of Bertha Manson's character as presented in Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre, and in what ways does it function in original novel?
So-
Question.
So, White Sargasso Sea offers a deep narration of life of Antonin, which provide a sympathetic view in the Jane Eyre, the character Bertha Mason. Thank you very much.